Oh my gosh, you guys, I feel so organized today. I got up early, ready to film. I have all of my books laid out for all the videos. Oh crap, this battery is about to die. Well, forget everything. Hi everyone, my name is Holly, and in today's video I am going to be doing my February wrap-up. I'm kind of pleased and kind of not with the amount of books that I read this month. I fell into that trap yet again where I read only one book the first half of the month and then I read all of the rest of them the second half. It's a really bad habit that I have that I hope to break one day, but I'm still ahead on my Goodreads reading challenge by 2 books, and that is all that matters. So the very first book that I read in February was Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. So I really enjoyed the First Law trilogy, you guys know that, and I went into this expecting to love it, but I actually didn't expect to like it possibly better. This kind of feels like blasphemy right now. So this is technically a standalone novel, still the 5th book in the First Law universe though, timeline wise. Oh wait, this is actually book 4, not book 5. What am I doing? And it's following a main character that wasn't a part of the original series. It was really refreshing to focus on Monza, our very strong female protagonist who is an infamous mercenary general. She is strong, crazy, determined, a bit nervy, but it all makes sense because she is heartbreakingly betrayed at the very beginning of this novel by her employer, who thinks she is gathering a little too much power because people are loving her so much, and I'm definitely on the same side as those people. I have honestly never fell in love so quickly with a story or a set of characters in my life. I was on page 10, I was literally like attached to the hip. Monza has this immense love and loyalty to her only family member, her brother. The beauty of it is while this book started and ended with her and her brother, along the way the family grew into this amazing cast of characters who she literally hires along the way to help her with her vengeance, and this vengeance of her backtracks to many different locations and heists. She was scared, she was alone, she's literally trying so hard to hold on to the one thing that she believes that she has to do. She started questioning her mission about halfway through, and I'll be honest, one of the things that I respected most about this character is that she never turned back and she never gave in. The woman's got guts, people. I always adore the themes that surfaces within Joe Abercrombie's books. It's always like magic versus science, and faith versus money, and loyalty versus vengeance. Like Monza, for example, Joe Abercrombie made it a point to say whether it's a hero story or a villain story, and though this is very dark and it can lead to very bleak circumstances, this book was still very hilarious. There's ironic observations, hilarious dialogue, self-deprecating comments, which is literally Joe Abercrombie's brand. He always cleverly mixes grit and gore with laughter. I obviously gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I love this so much. It's a new favorite Joe Abercrombie book of mine. I just love these characters so much. They mean a lot to me. And yeah, Best Served Cold, people. Check it out. Check out the First Law trilogy. Do it. Alrighty, so the next book that I picked up was The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Audier. This is a retelling of the classical 1001 Nights, following an evil boy king who takes a bride every single day, and every dawn he has her killed. And the main character marries him to get revenge for her best friend. So I actually ended up DNFing this one, unfortunately, about 100 pages in. I don't really have anything too negative to say about it, except it just did not have a chance after reading Best Served Cold. It was like going from a big juicy steak to a freezer burnt hot dog. I respect the author's attempt in her imagination, but for me personally, the writing was kind of bland, and I felt like I was being thrown into scenes with no context and no information. I went into it for like the Persian in world building and the environment, and I didn't really get any of that. Also, this is heavily focused on romance, which you guys know I do not like. And I know I've always been pretty hard when it comes to romances in my fiction, and I feel like because if there's going to be a romance in a book, it needs to be convincing, and I always want the characters and the plot and the story elements to be much stronger than some weird romance. I know I need a DNF book when I just pick up my phone and I just scroll through Twitter and Instagram, or I bring up YouTube and watch Markiplier, so this one definitely wasn't for me, and I ended up not picking up The Rose and the Dagger, which was on my TBR as well. And I will be marking this series off of my reading challenge list. Up next, I actually read a graphic novel on my Kindle, and that was Timo the Adventurer. This book was so stinking cute. It's all about a boy who lives in this really small village, and everyone thinks he's really odd because all he wants to do is read. Well, one day his parents inform him the most awful news ever, literally like a reader's worst nightmare, and that he has read every single attainable book. I don't even want to live in that kind of world. So as crippling as that would be to like a normal bookworm, Timo sees this as an opportunity to go on an adventure. So he runs away from home to do just that, and then maybe he will become that hero that he has always read about. I loved Timo as a character. You can immediately tell that he has learned a lot from all of the adventure books that he has read. When he goes into the forest, he takes a lot of precautions. He's smart, he's immersive, and he's really eager to learn more about bravery and teamwork. And honestly, while I was reading this, I looked up at the mirror in front of me and I realized I had a huge smile plastered on my face. And we meet such an array of characters. A lot of them are talking animals, and each character has a big like illustrated fact page about them because Timo has a journal that he writes in every night. The art in this is perfect. It's really clear and really rounded, so it really adds to that cuteness. This is just an awesome graphic novel that highlights self-discovery, and I found it really meaningful, and I recommend it to everyone. Kids and adults can read it and enjoy it. I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars. Also, the cliffhanger literally has me dying, so maybe wait until the second volume comes out because holy crap, that cliffhanger. So after reading that, I decided to pick up the next Joe Abercrombie book, and that was The Heroes. So this is technically book 5 within the First Law universe, and the story is pretty basic. The whole book takes place in a span of 3 days, and it's solely focused on this war that's happening between the Northmen and the Union, basically the North and the South. A side plot that's been building since the First Law trilogy, and one I expected to come face to face with eventually. Joe Abercrombie is, as always, the peak of perfection when it comes to characters, personalities, and plot pacing and story. He is so good at keeping every single character relevant throughout the entire book, and this one in particular just proves that he knows what he's doing. That being said though, I liked this one. I didn't love it, and it could be because I was spoiled by Best Served Cold. I don't know, this one is very heavy on military. It's all about war tactics and battle strategies. Also, I feel like every single book that Joe Abercrombie writes has a purpose. There's always a really clear motive for the plot to continue into the other books, and I just personally felt that this one didn't really add a whole lot to the universe. It's basically about a war that's pointless. None of the soldiers know why they're fighting each other, which is honestly realistic, and I absolutely see the theme that Joe Abercrombie was going for. There are so many messages in this book about being a hero, and Abercrombie is just saying that war is pointless, and he really delves into that. Yes, it's brutal and chaotic and something that I love speckled within my dark fantasies, but a 600-page book solely focused on this war really took a lot out of me. I ended up giving this one 3 stars, but that does not mean that this is a bad book. Joe Abercrombie can never write a bad book. I still really enjoyed it. This is solely focused on what interests me. It is still well worth a read, and I found so many new characters that I love and that I can't wait to meet again. And the next series I began to conquer in February was Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, Book 1, The Sword of Summer. Okay, Rick Riordan has created a world where Norse mythology literally comes to life. Honestly, this almost felt like a revised Percy Jackson book, which is really weird to say, but Magnus Chase totally reminded me of Percy. They're both very snarky and have very humorous dialogue. And I kept picturing Hotel Valhalla as Camp Half-Blood. I just couldn't stop comparing these two books together. And honestly, I wasn't attached to Magnus as much as I was to Percy, but I still adored him. Rick Riordan's writing is like a drug. It like sucks you in from page 1, and it is so entertaining and informative. I was really worried going into this because I don't really know a whole lot about Norse mythology, and honestly, I was telling Darren this, that playing the new God of War, I felt like helped me understand the characters in this book more, because there's Mimir, the like head that Kratos carries in God of War. He was in this book, and like I kept picturing those characters in that game as the characters in this book, and it helped so much. And Riordan just does a fantastic job explaining everything, and you'll have no problem understanding. Also, the diversity in this book is just so well done. There is a Muslim girl who kind of acts like Annabeth from Percy Jackson, and also there is a deaf character, and there's actually a lot of sign language bits within the dialogue. Also, thank you, Rick Riordan, for not having any romantic tension between these characters. Ugh, so happy about that, honestly, because it's not always necessary. It's just like one big group of best friends, and like, I just don't need the romance in there, people. Also, the Norse gods have their very colorful personalities. For instance, when you picture Thor, you picture him as he looked in the movies, but actually in this, he's like a slob. He burps and he farts, and all he cares about is like watching Netflix. I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited to go on to book 2 and 3. Alright, so that is it for my February wrap up. Tell me down below what books that you read, or if you have read any of these. I would love to know. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up, because it helps me out so much, and don't forget to subscribe. I upload videos every single week. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at HollyHeartsBooks and on Twitter at HollyNiece. And until we meet again, happy reading.